Welcome to Meyer's introduction of the renewable energy industry's most comprehensive, state-of-the-art energy management platform that was built from the ground up to enable users to maximize the financial benefits from the unfolding transition of our 140-year-old electric grid towards a cleaner, smarter, and more resilient power grid that is more in tune with the new reality of having to deal with terrorism, climate change, and other evolving and emerging dangers that threaten not only our economies, but also the very way of life that we simply take for granted. Myers has created the platform that lets you start with designing a microgrid, enables you to monitor it, control it, and in fact aggregate microgrids into virtual power plants that support the entire value proposition brick by brick as depicted in the stacked revenue model you see on the screen. So let me jump right in and show you what the interface looks like, how you get in, and navigate to the section of the platform which might be the purpose of your visit. Show you what the main features are, where do the most important buttons and indicators reside, and then take you to a view of a real-life microgrid so you can see and understand the underlying mechanics of what the system does and how. When you log in, the platform already knows who you are, what privileges and restrictions you have, and you see a view that is specifically compiled for each individual user. For our demonstration today, we are assuming that you are a large aggregator called OpenEGrid. So OpenEGrid's logo shows up there in the upper left-hand corner. OpenEGrid has several customers who have several microgrids, and OpenEGrid is operating a virtual power plant comprising of all these microgrids working together, each of which may have different types of DERs, such as solar, battery storage, EV chargers, HVAC systems, gensets, etc. Let's now drill down and look at one such microgrid in real time. The one that we are targeting for this demonstration is double-decker lanes. So you come in and it shows you who all the users are at that customer that could possibly want to use the system. This particular system only has one user, Jim Decker. So Jim Decker comes in, it shows him now all the assets that he has or owns. And in this case, Jim Decker only has one asset, but before we get to the asset, it asks you, what are you here to do? Are you looking to design a system, manage an asset, or are you an installer that wants to set up a system? So let's say Jim Decker is here simply to manage his assets. So it shows him all his assets that he could possibly maintain or manage. And the one that he has and he's interested in is a bowling center at 300 Golf Course Drive in Rohnert Park, California. So he comes in here and he sees this screen. And on this screen, you will see what is going on in real time. And let me describe to you the various buttons and possibilities that someone could have when they come in into this interface. So the main dashboard shows you that you're connected to PG&E as your provider. The facility right now is using almost 50 kilowatts of power, 49 of which is coming from the grid. The rest of it may be coming from solar or batteries, as you can see in this tile here. Other than that, this interface also has a dashboard that shows you what is going on in real time. So if there is a grid operator that has launched an event you would see that grid event taking place right here on this button. This would glow orange. It also gives you the option to either opt in or opt out of grid events that might take place. It shows you any alarms that may be active at any point in time. It also shows you what are the various services from this platform that this particular system has subscribed to. So it could be simply here for energy management and for monitoring, which are in green. You could also do renewable energy credit management, billing and invoicing services, EV charger control, HVAC controls, SGIP PDP services, data logging services, so on and so forth. On the left-hand side, it shows you where you are in your navigation. It also will allow you to look at the alarms, look at reports, go to the settings, go to the graph view, which you can do by clicking here or going here and clicking on the graph view. It shows you the graph in real time as to what is happening here. Obviously, it's evening, it's about 8:15 on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening. And this is what is going on at this site. You can go in and look at any of these graphs. It shows you the timestamp and the magnitude of whatever quantity it is that you're looking at. But let me bust out of here and show you another site which will probably tell the story better as to what these systems are capable of doing. And I'm deliberately going back in time to a small microgrid that was installed at the Sun Design Center, which is a building materials showroom in Cupertino, California. And the reason I'm going back in time and picking this particular system is because this particular day, which was at the cusp of the changing season in November, really shows you the capabilities of the platform. So having started with the design tool, the system came up with recommendations as to what should be the size of the solar, what should be the size of the batteries. That was installed. And now, fast forward a couple of years, it shows you what the system, first of all, is doing today, has done today on that particular day. What are the savings in that month? What are the savings for the year? What are the lifetime savings? But more importantly, let's look at the graph and understand what is going on with each of these colors and what is the information that you can really glean from here. So let me go one by one with these colors. The one at the top, which is the orange line, that is the tariff line. It shows you the tariff. And what this is telling you is that the tariff was low until this particular time, which is 8 a.m. in the morning, and then it jumped up substantially. So that's the tariff line. This yellowish greenish line is the state of charge of the batteries. This system has a 75 kilowatt hour battery. The solar is about 15 kilowatts in size. So that's the state of charge of the batteries. The green line here is obviously the classic inverted U, which is the solar curve. The brown, that is the actual usage of the facility. That is the actual amount of power that this facility is using. The red is what we are drawing from the grid. And then what you don't see very clearly is a blue that shows you what the battery inverter is doing. So anyway, what is important here is to see that through the night, there is some draw from the grid when the electricity was cheap. And we started this day with the batteries pretty completely charged up. And what happened at 8 o'clock in the morning? Well, first of all, the sun started to come up slowly at about 6 a.m. And when the sun came up, the draw from the grid began to back off. However, it looks like people came into the showroom right around 8 o'clock, which happened to coincide with the jump in the tariff. And as they came in, their usage went up dramatically. Solar started to come up slowly, but there was a shortfall between the solar and what the facility was using. That shortfall was made up from the batteries discharging now, because the intelligence of the system knows that the rates of electricity are rather high at this point in time. So taking everything else into consideration, which it does every few seconds, it made a decision to keep discharging the battery in small steps, as you can see, in order to make sure that we are not drawing anything from the grid at those high rates. That goes on throughout the day. As the solar rises, the batteries back off, and then the solar starts to fall off. Batteries start again to augment the difference. And as the sun goes down, but the usage remains high. Remember, this is November. So it gets dark and solar backs off much before these people went home, which probably started at this point in time, which is about 4 o'clock. They started shutting down the showroom, or at least turning off major usage, maybe the HVAC or the heaters or whatever. Their usage came down substantially, but the rates of electricity were still high. So the battery is almost now completely supporting the load, and that goes on all the way until these people finally decide to go home, which is about 8:30 or so in the evening. The showroom shuts down. Batteries start to back off, and at 9 o'clock, when the tariff really comes down back to earth, then the system kind of heaves a sigh of relief, and the batteries now start charging up because electricity is cheap and you can draw power from the grid again. So that's about it for this short introduction of this comprehensive, complex, but easy to use, feature-rich platform. It's a lot of information that I've given you today. I would encourage you to watch the video more than once if you need to. Feel free to call back with questions. We'd be happy to answer them. We look forward to more such videos that we'll create for you as we introduce the more advanced features of this platform. Thank you very much.